I think, there we go. We all have to give our explicit permission to be recorded.
Correct.
Okay, well, appreciate you all taking time out of a busy day, and we'll go ahead and get started on this really fabulous thing that you all have agreed to be involved in. It's really all in an effort to support the Santa Fe Public Schools. My name is Kate Noble. I am the president of the Board of Education for the Santa Fe Public Schools. I want to welcome everybody and again say thanks for being here. And a huge thanks especially to Grace Mayer, who is the president of NEA Santa Fe, who is the creative force behind this idea and where we've got to today. It's taken a lot of work and thinking from everybody, and it will take even more as we go forward. But Grace, a good idea is so valuable, and fortunately we've gotten everybody involved. And I just want to frame a little bit of the need. We all are hearing about staffing shortages. Had the pleasure of participating in the Chamber's board meeting this morning, where that was certainly a topic of conversation. We had a report out that retirements are up 40% in the public schools this year. And we all sort of know, I think, in our guts, but it's worth saying out loud that schools are really the sort of magnified end of the telescope of what's going on in society. So right now, our educators are dealing with behavioral issues, the fact that people have lost social skills, that there's a lot of stress in families, a lot of fear about the pandemic and all of these things. And the staffing issues are extreme, but of course, everybody also has to quarantine. And I personally have had the great privilege of talking to a number of folks in our schools as I look at shaping a really intentional second term on the school board. I think most of you know I am running, and I am running unopposed, so I expect to be elected. And it's been, I would say, incredibly inspiring and incredibly humbling what I've heard from folks in the schools about how everyone who can be is covering absences in classrooms. It seems impossible to get subs. People, retirements are up. There have also been some departures mid-year. And what is amazing is that in our schools, everybody is concerned about everybody else. So you talk to teachers and they're worried about their colleagues. You talk to principals and they're worried about staff members. You talk to district administrators, they're worried about everybody. And the nature of education is that people step up and solve problems, and they have forever and ever, and they just get on with it. But they're more exposed than ever right now, and we really need our community to wrap around our schools, which are such a valuable part of our community, of our economy. They enable people to work. They provide socialization for kids. My own child is so much happier being back in the classroom with his peers and with his teachers. And I think if we learned anything from, a year of staying home, it's how important it is to be together and for our schools to be part of this. So we get to announce today an important initiative that has all of this support with the city, with the teachers union driving the idea, and with our business community and the Chamber of Commerce also coming along to support. So I will go ahead and run through our speakers who are on this panel, starting with Mayor Weber, and the initiative that the city is putting forward to really step up and be a part of the community supporting our schools. Mayor Weber, thank you so much for being a part of this. And why don't you provide the details? You might want to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Kate. I was muted. Thank you, President Noble. And that was a great great way to set the table. And I am very happy we're making this announcement today. I think it really goes to Grace and you for bringing the idea forward and presenting it actually before COVID hit, and then COVID hit. And then when COVID came back, we had a very constructive chance to sit down and have lunch and revisit the idea. Very simply, we all know that these kids who you look at as students at the public school, and I look at as the future of our city as leaders to be grown into, and residents, workers, these are our kids and your kids. We want to help. We want the city to be a partner. We want to be a constructive ally with the schools, because so much of what happens in the lives of our young people happen at school. You are the responsible body to take care of that. We just want to be your partner. And so when Grace and you came to the city and said, we need volunteers, we could use some help, we took that idea to Bernadette Salazar, who is our HR director. She began talking with Sabra and with Superintendent Chavez, and what has emerged is a plan for every city employee to take up to 4 hours of paid leave per month to volunteer as a partner with the Santa Fe Public Schools. To the best of my knowledge, this has not been done before. It's a really exciting new initiative, and it represents the partnership that we all know we need to have our kids succeed. You all know better than we do what the opportunities are for these volunteers, but there's a long list: drop off, lunch, pickup duty, library support, tutoring in grade levels 3 to 5, homework hotline, working with English learners, after school programming. The need is great, and the opportunity is great, and the city is committed to being your partner. So I think the applause goes to you two. Kate, you and Grace are the real initiators of this project. We are delighted that we're able to be your partner, and we are in it to help our kids learn and succeed. I think this is just the first of many opportunities for us to collaborate, cooperate, and work together to help the kids of Santa Fe in school, out of school, succeed in their lives. So thank you both, and to the superintendent and to Sabra for being the real the people who can put it into execution. We are excited to work with you on next steps and getting volunteers out of the city of Santa Fe to step up, spend time, and contribute to the schools. Back to you, President Noble. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. 4 hours a month of paid leave for city employees. And it's worth saying that not only will the schools benefit from those volunteers, but this will be something that will knit our community closer together, because more knowledge and on the ground experience in our schools from people who live here, parents and grandparents and relatives, and it'll keep us together and hopefully lead to bigger and better things as the relationships develop and understanding grows between the city folks and folks in our schools. And even other community members. And we'll come to the president of the chamber in a moment. But first, again, the brains behind the whole thing and the person who is on the ground in the schools every day, Grace Mayer, who is the president of NEA Santa Fe. Why don't you go ahead, and thank you for taking time, Grace. We know how valuable the minutes in your day are.
Thanks, everybody. And I really look forward to this collaboration. I think it's really an astounding effort that we can get all these groups of people together to support our students in our public schools. I did bring this issue a few years ago because we had a retiring workforce and we had vacancies then. And as the mayor pointed out, as the pandemic hit, that situation has increased, and so I'm glad that we're moving this forward in a particular way. One thing that the second part of this is about the commitment that the community is showing by doing this. When you volunteer at a school, you create relationships with everybody, the janitor, the librarian, the students, the families, and every little bit helps. So anything that you feel confident in doing in terms of volunteering to be out on playground duty or helping make Xeroxes for teachers and distributing those, all of those little efforts add up to a huge improvement in the daily lives of the people that work at the schools. And I also think that the students need champions from the community to come and embrace them and give them positive reinforcement and be a role model for them in their lives. But many of their parents work multiple jobs and aren't always able to go into schools or go on a field trip or meet them somewhere and try to, ask them how their day was, because they're busy trying to make a living, and we know how difficult that is in challenging times. And so for the workers of the city to be those surrogates, and in some cases, maybe not, and maybe their grandma or grandpa, and they're coming in, or their aunt. I think that would be a huge boost to their, enthusiasm for school in general, that the community is willing to, come in and support them in their education. So I think it started out originally, as an assist to the staff, but I really think the students are the ones who are gonna benefit the most from the relationships. And as educators, and I include everybody in the word educator that works in the school system, we do need the support from the community for our public schools to thrive and for our students to thrive. So really grateful to the volunteers we have, and then the ones that are going to commit to these 4 hours a month. I think it'll be outstanding. So.
Thank you, President Mayer. We have 3 presidents on this call. That seems kind of exciting. All of us women. Anyway, appreciate it. And that's really great thinking that the students will ultimately be the beneficiaries of all of this. And of course, there is a lot to say about how the district itself is operating and the big picture. And we are very appreciative of all of the work that the district will be doing to get this working efficiently and supporting the school sites. And of course, our fearless leader at the district is Superintendent Hilario Chavez. Superintendent, your thoughts, please.
Yes, thank you, President Noble. Appreciate it. And thanks everybody who's attending today on our press conference. This is an amazing opportunity, and we want to extend our deepest thanks to the city, Mayor Weber, NEA Santa Fe, and Grace Mayer, their president, our Board of Education, and of course you, President Noble, and the city of Santa Fe's Chamber of Commerce, for offering to help with our students and our staff and really provide the support that's really needed inside our schools currently and moving through the school year. So this is something that we're hoping to really foster and grow. It's an immediate need, but it's a need that also could help us throughout the school year. And, we've just completed the month of September, and we're moving on into the winter months. So we're looking forward to this great partnership, and, we're really appreciating the effort of everybody going to make sure that this happens. We're especially grateful to NEA Santa Fe and you, President Noble, for bringing this idea forward, and then also making sure that we're following through with some of these ideas to really help support our students and staff. We're very delighted to welcome these volunteers and invite them to become ingrained into the school's culture and community. As part of the Equity and Diversity and Engagement Department, that's a mouthful, our volunteer program helps fulfill, our mission. We want to ensure that every student has a safe and high quality as well as engaging education that values diversity, equity, and social justice. So I think this is really going to provide that support needed to make sure that we're ensuring that for every student. And, volunteers, not only through the city of Santa Fe, but through our community, are critical. They're a critical asset to our district. They can contribute to student success, their achievement. They support our teachers, our principals, district staff, you name it. They're the helping hands and the hands that we currently need on deck. They increase our overall academic achievement by providing targeted tutoring, offering social emotional support, promoting healthy relationships, fostering that family network, creating a positive environment for students. And really, I think it's going to bridge the gap between the schools, the city, and the community. It's going to bring us all together and bring us all as one. So again, we're here to help, we're here to support, and we're going to make sure that we're doing everything we can to ensure that it's a smooth transition from those that want to volunteer into our schools. And Mr. Mayor did mention a lot of the opportunities that will be available for some of our volunteers to really help assist at the school. And again, it could range from morning and afternoon duties, recess duties, supervision of lunchtime, as President Mayor mentioned, participating on field trips, but also even if they're interested in providing tutoring services, which we just launched this week for our students who are quarantining, and that is a virtual tutoring service. So not only can we, use the assistance in person in our schools, but also virtually with our tutoring services for those that have to quarantine. So again, we're very excited to launch and nurture this new effort. We're dedicated to ensuring a positive experience for everyone that wants to volunteer. So we're encouraging every individual within the city to at least try it. Try 1 hour. If you like it, try all 4. Our volunteer program is fortunate to be the beneficiary of this investment, and we're extremely honored for everybody's participation. So again, thank you, City of Santa Fe, Mayor Weber, NEA Santa Fe President Grace Mayer, and also our Board of Education President Noble. So thank you all again.
Thank you, Superintendent. And the sort of other leg of this stool is our business community, and our third president for the day, who is President Bridget Dixon with an S. I am so pleased to have the Chamber's partnership in this and the commitment that Bridget has brought to education, and really the ease of understanding the connection between our schools and our current and future workforce, and how this is all integrated for our business community. And Bridget, we really appreciate you committing the Chamber to being a partner in this. So please share how you see this going, and we know that it'll continue to evolve, and just appreciate your partnership.
Well, great. Thank you so much, President Noble. Thank you, Mayor. It's such a pleasure to be part of this conversation, because this is something that's very, very valuable. The Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce serves as a voice of business here in Santa Fe, and we represent over 700 businesses. And we feel very passionately about education here with the Chamber. In fact, since 2016, the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce facilitated what's called Everyday Matters. It's a program that rewards students for having good attendance, and that has evolved since COVID to Engagement Matters. And we're excited that we're going to continue to have that Engagement Matters continue to all public school students. Additionally, the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce, we believe that creating a flourishing business community starts with investing in the future generation of business leaders, business owners, and community members. And the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce supports the Santa Fe Public Schools bridge to connect the business community with our public school students and staff and teachers. We encourage business members to contribute their time, their resources to this volunteer initiative. Therefore, on our Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce website, which is santafechamber.com, we are going to have an icon on our homepage that's going to be listed under Support Santa Fe Public Schools Volunteer Initiatives, and it will give our business community the opportunity for them not only to volunteer their time and for the employees to match the time of their team members, but it'll give you an opportunity to also donate money, because these teachers are working harder than ever. And not only do we need to support our students, but we need to support our teachers and their entire faculty. So even something as simple as buying them a cup of coffee or buying them a lunch or sending flowers. So it's more than just volunteering their time, it's just showing the appreciation. And through our website, you'll have that opportunity to log on, register your business name, and put down the type of services you'd like to provide, whether it's volunteer or it's monetary. So once again, thank you, President. Thank you, Mayor, for coming up with this fantastic idea and for including the business community.
Yay, thank you so much, Bridget. Really appreciate you bringing this. It reminds me, actually, I think the first resolution I sponsored upon getting onto the board was another idea that Grace had, President Mayor, which was about teacher appreciation. And there is always a need for that, and now more than ever, as you say, Bridget, for just whatever it can be to make our teachers feel loved. And the superintendent has also been involved in some efforts to do that, and we appreciate that. And one thing I haven't said, and I'll just sort of spring this on everybody, but Mayor and Bridget, I'm hoping that we can track this in some fashion so that we know how many city hours are being brought to volunteer in the schools from city employees. And Bridget, it sounds like your website will be a good mechanism for tracking what businesses are doing in terms of whether it's contributions, donations to schools, even taking a teacher out to lunch, whatever it may be. It would be great for us to be able to report back on how this is working and what the schools are benefiting from, and hopefully create a real virtuous cycle, because then we can challenge people to do more and to hit the next level of commitment. And Sabra Romero is our volunteer and event coordinator for the Santa Fe Public Schools. And we had asked her to be here in case there were any key questions as to how this is going to work in the public schools. So at this stage, we appreciate the members of the press taking the time to listen to all of us talk about this, but I just want to open it up for any questions. And Sabra, thank you so much for being here. But for members of the press, if you have questions, if you want to unmute, put it in the chat, however you want to ask a question. If you have any, we'll give you a couple minutes. And if there aren't any, we can all go about our days.
It's Jessica from the Santa Fe New Mexican. I just had a quick question. I wanted to know when the volunteer hours and the paid leave would begin to be offered. Is that effective today, or is that something that's going to be happening next month?
I think that's yours, Mayor.
Let me take a crack at that one. We have a flyer going out with making this announcement to the city employees that the 4 hours of paid leave is effective starting right away. Anybody can apply. There's a link for an application. Our HR department, led by Bernadette Salazar, has been coordinating it. Her phone number is on the flyer as well. And so as of effective of this gathering right now, the offer is on the table. We're asking people to step up and volunteer and make a commitment to help the schools and to help the kids. And to build on something that President Mayer said, I just want to say the other group that will benefit from this will be the volunteers. Every time I've ever volunteered or been a mentor, you think you're helping somebody else. It turns out you learn more and you benefit and grow more than anybody else. So I know any city employee that steps up and takes advantage of this offer will find their own lives will be enhanced by the experience working with the schools, the teachers, the administration, and the kids. It's a tremendous growth opportunity for everybody.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hi, it's Annalisa with KRQE, if you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead, Annalisa.
Okay, just one more specific on, so when volunteers apply, do they, say where they would like to help out, or is there a match system, or how does that work?
Sabra, do you want to take that? When you get a referral from the city, what happens next?
So the city does have an application process as well as us, but you will probably be working with both Bernadette and myself on placement. But when a volunteer applies, they do have the option of selecting which schools they would like to apply to. So we'll start with whatever the questions are on the application and then kind of move from there, because it does ask like what kind of interest they have and what grade levels they will want to help and those kind of initial conversations. And then so that'll kind of give me the cue as to where to lead the placement direction for that particular volunteer.
Superintendent, did you want to add anything? Or?
No, I think Sabra summed it up. Yeah, so we really want to make it seamless, but I think by giving them the option really could encourage more volunteers to, it could be their son or daughters or, grandchild's school. So we do want to take that preference into consideration so we can make it meaningful and enjoyable for everyone involved.
Does that answer your question, Annalisa?
Thank you. I have one more question for the district. And that's just if you could talk a little bit more about the need that you have in terms of staff, and even if you can give, I guess, any numbers or what it's compared to usual or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely, Annalisa. And thanks for the question. So our vacancy is about on par as it was in the past. Of course, we've had ebbs and flows of it. Sometimes it's dipping down, into the 20s as far as vacancies district-wide. And sometimes it's as high as 40. It all depends on whether or not we're able to fill vacancies that we currently have open, and then with the retirement. So we are seeing retirements and resignations now during the school year. And so the volunteers are going to be key to really filling those gaps.
And Superintendent, just to clarify, 20s and 40s, those are numbers of vacancies, not
Yes,
percentages.
Correct. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, no worries. Any other questions?
No, but Kate, I'd like to comment on something.
Go ahead.
In it, some of the need is also there because of the expansion of certain programs to keep us safe in our environments. Like we have more outside areas that we have to use for lunch and to spread out kids and things like that. And so a duty that would normally be, a 15-minute duty is now like a half an hour, and there's multiple places. And that's part of the issue that we're having, that the need is there because of COVID safety precautions as well. And so that's in addition to the vacancies and some of the other things. And we're not having as many substitutes that we normally had come in. And that could be as a result of people's concerns about COVID and, a resurgent, but in the Delta variant. So we're not seeing the number of volunteers or maybe the number of volunteers, maybe Sabra can answer that question, but the expansion of services too, to the online programs and some of the other things. We're sort of getting back to normal in terms of, having expanded programs after school and things like that. And with new resources from the federal government, we are expanding even more, right? So when you have a shortage and then you're trying to build on programming and, also try to be safe, those measures are sort of compounding the issue. So that's some of where the need is too. It's not just because of the vacancies, it's because of other issues. Thank you.
It's an important point. Any other questions, comments?
Annalisa, one last time. I promise this is my last question, and I apologize if I missed this, but is there any end date to the program?
I don't think so. Nobody said an end date. Mayor, you're shaking your head. Yeah, Bridget's shaking her head. No end date. Good question.
And if I didn't say it before, I do think that Grace and Kate deserve the lion's share of credit for this. They really brought this forward, and they really did a super job of being advocates for our kids and recognizing that the city and the chamber could be good partners, but you two are really the strong leaders who made this happen. And I'm very grateful to you for making it happen. It's really going to be a great partnership. And as you both said, it may lead to even more opportunities. Let's keep those doors open.
Hallelujah. Okay. Last call for questions. All right, well, thank you to our members of the press for showing up. Thank you, Dave and Sabra, and certainly thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Grace. It's really great to see you all. And, you know, hopefully this is the start of something that grows and blooms beautifully.
Thank you.
All right, see you all.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Hi, everybody.